Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We're just going to take a few more minutes for people to join. I do ask that everybody keeps themselves muted unless if you guys are speaking. So I'm just going to go ahead and mute everyone for you, or mute you guys, on behalf of you. And then we'll start in a few minutes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jana O'Connell, and I am the Interim Senior Director of Graduate Admissions here at Bay Path University. I'm excited to welcome all of you this evening to our Graduate Resources Open House. This evening's event is an excellent opportunity for you to learn about our wraparound support services we provide and how to access those services. The schedule for this evening: we will provide you with a short presentation from each of our support service departments, with time for questions and answers at the end of each segment. And then we'll end the evening with introduction from our graduate admissions members team and next steps to help you on your path to success. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our first department.
In just a few moments, I would like to welcome Dawn Batchelor, our Senior Assistant Director of Student Financial Services, who will be sharing some important information regarding the financing options, scholarship opportunities, and the array of services that are available to support you throughout your graduate journey. Feel free to put any questions in the chat, and we will get to those at the end of her presentation. And without further ado, I welcome Dawn Batchelor.
Thank you, Sam. Hello, good evening, everyone. It's nice to see the attendance on here. So thanks for joining us. Yes, I am the Senior Assistant Director of Student Financial Services, and I'm going to go through what types of financial aid there are for graduate students. But first, the first step in knowing if you're eligible for aid is by completing the FAFSA, which is the free application for student aid. And that is completed on the government website, which is studentaid.gov. As a grad student, students are eligible for the direct federal unsubsidized loans up to $20,500 in an academic year, depending on your program. It is based on your cost of attendance. So it's, again, depending on your program and the number of credits you're enrolled in each academic year. So the maximum, again, $20,500, and the current interest rate on that loan is 8.08%. It's a fixed rate for the academic year. Additional financing options: not all programs would require additional financing, but some of them, such as like some of the MOT programs, genetic counseling, some of those other graduate programs would need additional financing options. And there are additional financing options such as a Graduate Plus loan. Again, that's a federal loan. It would be applied directly through the studentaid.gov website. Current interest rate on the Graduate Plus loan is 9.08%. There's also student private loans. Those are private loan lenders such as Sallie Mae, Discover, Wells Fargo. There's a variety of them. Those terms and conditions do vary on those types of loans. But we always do suggest the unsubsidized loan and the Graduate Plus loans first, because the private loan interest rates tend to be higher. We also do support students who have tuition reimbursement through their employers. It is a simple process. If you do have tuition reimbursement through your employer, we would need for you to complete a tuition deferment application, which is found on our portal, the Bay Path Community Portal. Each semester, that form would need to be completed. If your employer provides a voucher for reimbursement, then that's a different process. We would just bill them directly each semester. We also support VA benefits. In addition to what I do in student financial services, I'm also the liaison for students for VA benefits. And that's a simple process. If you're eligible for your benefits, you would just need to provide our office with your certificate of eligibility letter just one time. We don't need that to be provided each year. But then we have a certifying official that would certify benefits each semester. I know a lot of people are interested in scholarships. We do have some scholarships. Outside scholarships are available, and we do have on our website, if you type in the search engine outside scholarships, there's a page. They're combined with undergrad and grad scholarships, but you just need to do your research to know the ones for grad students, and you can apply. We also have a graduate assistantship. That is there's limited positions. They're posted in the summer every year. And if you're eligible and you're selected to be work as a grad assistant, then the benefit to you would be 12 credits of tuition paid per calendar year. So 6 credits between January and June, and 6 credits between July and December. We also have a Stay on the Path grant, which is a 20% discount for alumni students in certain programs. So it's not every program that's eligible for the Stay on the Path grant. Next slide, please. So if you were a student at Bay Path University, we do have one-on-one welcome calls with our grad students. So we, at the beginning of a semester, will send out an email to grad students with our information. So if you want to set up a welcome call, you can do that. And again, it's just one-on-one with a financial aid counselor. You can set it up through phone, Zoom. You can we do have staff in the annex on our Longmeadow campus, so you can come in person. We do Google Meet as well. So that's one of the benefits, as well as we do have some FATV videos that are on our website, on our financial aid pages. Net Partner, FATV videos are basically just short videos, 60 seconds or less. If you have a question about financial aid and you're not able to get a hold of our office, a quick way is to just type in your question, what you're looking for. The FATV video will pop up, and in a video 60 seconds or less, it'll answer your question for you. Net Partner is our financial aid portal, so different from the Bay Path Community Portal. So we have our own portal where everything associated with financial aid is housed. So any of your financial aid documents, your financial aid award letters, all of that would be housed in Net Partner. We also provide students with a monthly student newsletter. I'm going to change that to, it's not monthly, I apologize. We used to do a monthly. It's now quarterly. It's more quarterly student newsletter. The newsletter is emailed to every student. It's a good idea to review it because it has great information such as deadlines for billing, deadlines for FAFSA, reminders of documents that need to be completed. So we have scholarship opportunities as well on the newsletter. And then on our Bay Path University Community Grad page, all of the information regarding student financial services. We also, Student Financial Services, have our own page on the Bay Path Community portal with our Calendly. We use Calendly as a link. So if you want to set up an appointment with any one of our advisors, that's on our financial aid page. You just click on Calendly. our schedules are available, and that's how you would set up a way or time to meet with us. We do provide exit counseling at the time of graduation. So for every student who's graduating, we do provide an in-person and a virtual counseling session or exit counseling session. So you're prepared when your loans become, when the repayment period starts on your loans. So you'll know exactly what to expect. So we do have representatives coming in to let everyone know that information. And then I think I had mentioned scheduling an appointment. We use Calendly, and that's how you would set up an appointment with us. You can also call our office. And right here on the slide is our phone number, a link to our website, and then our BayPath, our email address. I did skip over financial literacy programs. We do have financial literacy programs as well. And this year is the first year that we're using what's called Kindros. So our office, Student Financial Services, is collaborating with Kindros to provide our students with sort of like financial building blocks. So every month there's a topic. Again, this is housed in our financial aid community portal. So it's built to educate students on budgeting, saving, credit scores, borrowing, insurance, housing, education. So there's lots of topics. So just one way for us to support our students with financial wellness. And that concludes my presentation. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Great. Thank you so much for that presentation, Dawn. We did have a few questions that came through the chat, so we'll get right to those. Our first question is, what programs are not eligible for the Stay on the Path grant?
That is a good question. We don't, so sorry, I should know that, but I don't, because grad admissions is the office that determines who's eligible for the Stay on the Path. So we're notified by grad admissions of the programs that are. So someone else may be able to answer that.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. I know, for instance, our occupational therapy programs are not eligible for the Stay on the Path. Our physician assistant program is not eligible for the Stay on the Path. I think there might be a couple of more. Genetic counseling is another one. Just off the top of my head, we do have quite a few wonderful graduate programs, but I know some of the programs that I just mentioned are not eligible. And of course, if you do, I can take down your information. You can contact one of us and we can provide you an extensive list as well as kind of the criteria for it as well.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Anastasia. And it looks like Carrie Ann also was able to put the Stay on the Path link in the chat. So if you're able to look at that now, great. If not, we can, like we said, provide that to you as well. So our next question regarding financial aid, do we pay per semester or a whole year ahead?
Okay, good question. So when you're saying do we pay, if you're paying out of pocket, you would, not using financial aid, you would pay per semester, not per year. Students are billed per semester, not per academic year. So even if you're using financial aid in the form of the unsubsidized loan, we award for you for the full year, but you're only billed per semester. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you. A couple other questions that came through. When I'm getting ready to fill out my FAFSA, what documents should I have prepared with me to complete that application?
Okay, great question. And I should say, so I will tell you the documents that you should have, but also it does matter which academic year or what year your FAFSA you're completing. So if a student is beginning in the, say, spring or summer of 2025, you would want to complete the 24-25 FAFSA. And if you're beginning fall of next year, 25, you would complete the 25-26 FAFSA. However, the 25-26 FAFSA is not available yet to complete, and it won't be available till sometime December of this year. And the forms that you should have in front of you are your tax forms. So it's prior year. So you're completing, let's say you're completing the 24-25 FAFSA, you're starting in the spring semester. You would submit your 2022, you'd want your 2022 tax information in front of you. Although it's not necessary to actually have that in front of you because the FAFSA now is linked with the IRS. So all of your tax information is coming over. As long as you're able to do that, that it's a successful match, then you won't have to manually input all of that tedious information. There are situations where you may have to manually enter the information. So yes, you'd want to have your 22 tax return in front of you. And that's really the only information that you would need.
And kind of to piggyback off of that, a lot of students are wondering, like, what is the latest that they can apply for FAFSA? So for instance, a lot of our programs, the next start date is going to be January 13th. So what do you recommend is kind of like the cutoff date that it's not going to be too late to apply for FAFSA?
Sure. So we ask that you at least have it completed 2 weeks prior to when you're going to start your courses, because when you submit it to the Department of Education, then our office doesn't receive it for another 3 to 5 days. And then the turnaround time once we receive it in our office is pretty quick. 2 weeks is really, really cutting it close. We ask that you have it completed prior to that. So, I mean, if it's available to you, the 24-25 FAFSA, and you're going to start school, I would say just complete it as soon as possible.
Perfect. Thank you. So for this next question, I'm not sure if this is something they might want to clarify a little bit more. Maybe Dawn might understand it better. For payment plans, do they start at the beginning of the semester or the beginning of the first course?
Okay. Yep. Good question. So I'm sorry, I did not even talk about payment plans. My bad. So we do offer monthly payment plans as well. We offer for graduate students, we offer a 4-month and a 3-month payment plan. So for instance, our fall semester this year, students started classes in September, but your first payment due date for your payment plan, it was August 1st. So it's a month prior to when you're actually starting. That would be a 4-month plan, but if you were doing a 3-month plan, you would start September. If you were starting in the fall, it would be September, October, November. You would make payments. But generally, people want the longer payment plan. So yes, it's a month prior to when you're actually starting.
Awesome.
Thank you. And then for my undergraduate loan deferment, does that start at the same time as the payment plan would start, or would that start at when the class starts? Because I was hearing it both ways, so I just wanted to clarify.
Sure. So our once you're enrolled at BayPath, your information is reported to our national student loan data systems. So that's how your deferment of your undergrad loans would start. It's reported to that outside system. However, we don't report that until 30 days after classes start, because there's the add drop periods and all of that. So we wait 30 days before reporting to that. You can, if you really want to know that you're going to get deferred and you don't want to wait 30 days, there's actually a deferment application that you can receive from your loan servicer. And that's something that our registrar's office would complete for you.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and we have just one question that is not related for Dawn, but I just wanted to say thank you so much, Dawn, for being here this evening. We really appreciate it. And of course, this is being recorded. We'll follow up with everything that you guys need, but obviously, Dawn and her team are available to answer any of the questions that you guys have. And I just want to answer this one specific question that's not related to financial aid, just in case if somebody's waiting. and they can't be here till the end of the open house. But do you have clinical psychology programs? And is the program online or in person? We have a master's in developmental psychology program, as well as the Master of Science in clinical mental health counseling program. And both programs, the classes themselves are 100% online. And now we're gonna go forward to the next presentation. And I'm happy to introduce with our accessibility services, Emily. She's going to chat with you guys pertaining everything to that, followed by mental health support services with Tanya.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm Emily Bork. I'm the Director of Student Accessibility Services here at Bay Path University. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And thank you so much to the Graduate Virtual Open House team for having our office on this call. So our office is here to support students that require accommodations for their courses. So our office is responsible for meeting with students that have documented disabilities, providing them with accommodations for their academic courses to ensure equal access and non-discrimination in all university courses, activities, and experiences. It's really important to define what equal access means in an educational and college setting. So we accommodate through classes, through practical experiences, throughout a student's education. These accommodations are determined and implemented and are meant to reduce or eliminate disability-related barriers. So accommodations at the college level are not designed to guarantee success in all classes. They're designed to provide equal access to courses. This means that all students, regardless of the presence of a disability, must meet the same academic, clinical, and behavioral standards and requirements of their courses and their program. There are no modifications at the college level to course requirements. However, we do provide accommodations in this setting, and our office would be the go-to contact for any accommodation-related concerns or questions. So as far as what accommodations are available through our office, it really depends on each student and the unique barriers they're experiencing in their academic setting. And this goes for graduate level work as well. So oftentimes you hear of accommodations in the K through 12 system. Some students might have had undergraduate level accommodations. Accommodations are still something that you're eligible for at the graduate level if you qualify for this type of support. Due to the impacts of a documented disability. So we determine accommodations on a case-by-case basis. We determine this by communicating through an interactive process with our students, reviewing documentation, reviewing specific requests for accommodations at the college level, and we review all of that information together in tandem to help determine what accommodations are reasonable and appropriate for a student for their college experience. So in determining reasonable accommodations, we consider each student's unique experience, their history, their requests, and also the unique characteristics of each of course and program that a student is participating in. Next slide, please. Thank you. Some more helpful information and tips from the Student Accessibility Services Office. We encourage students that have accommodations that are set up for support through our office to be proactive in their communication. We encourage you to register, even if you're not sure if you'll use your accommodations for your courses. We're here to support you. We encourage you to reach out and connect with our office to have a conversation about whether or not accommodations would make sense for you for your college experience. It's important to remind students that this is a confidential experience, so nothing about your disability or your documentation is shared outside of the Student Accessibility Services Office. The only information that your professors would receive if you were eligible for academic accommodations is what accommodations you would have for those courses, right? So they wouldn't know the nature or extent of your disability. That's totally up to each individual student if they wish to disclose their disability to their faculty or to their advisors. I always encourage, regardless of having a disability, all college students to ask for help when you need it. Many of our offices here on campus as academic and experiential support, we're here to support you. This is what we do full time, and we're here to make sure that you have a great university graduate level experience. So please ask for help when you need it. If you're not sure where somebody could answer your question, you can always connect with one of us and we're happy to direct you to the right people. And then, of course, we always encourage self-advocacy. If you ever have any problems associated with accommodations once you're set up for support, please let us know. If there is an issue that you're experiencing in a class with accessing your accommodations, we won't know about it or be able to help you solve that problem unless we're aware. So just really important to make sure to be proactive, ask for support when you need it. That's what we're here for. Next slide, please. All right, so this slide details what the process would be for requesting accommodations if this is something that applies to you. So on the right-hand side of the slide is my contact information, including my email, my phone number, and the link to our website. Please feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any specific questions regarding accommodations. That would be the best point to have that conversation would be on an individual basis. As far as requesting accommodations go, the first step would be to submit an intake form or an application through the portal that we use through the Bay Path University BPU community site. So we have our own portal that students can access. They fill out some paperwork for us, and they can also submit their documentation, review documentation guidelines through this portal. The next step would be for our team to review documentation, review a student's paperwork, and then reach out to schedule an access planning meeting if they're eligible for that type of support. You would meet with a staff member through our office, either in person, by phone, or by Zoom, to discuss college level accommodations, what our office responsibilities are, and what your responsibilities would be as a student. After that meeting, we create an accommodation letter, which is a legal document that informs professors of what types of accommodation support is available to the student for their courses. That letter is sent to faculty electronically each semester that a student requests that support. There's always ongoing conversations that can be had, of course, with our office. If you're ever experiencing a unique barrier, a new barrier that you weren't anticipating and you're associated with our office, please don't hesitate to reach out. Each semester that you're registered for accommodations, you do have to make sure to manually request them through the portal that I mentioned. Happy to provide more specific information individually as needed. As I said, my contact information is on the right-hand side. Our phone number is 413-565-1602, and I can be reached at embork@baypath.edu.
Thank you so much, Emily. And now we're going to pass things on to Tanya to chat with you guys about the mental health support services. And at the end of her presentation, then we can, if you guys have any questions, please type them in or unmute yourself pertaining to both accessibility services and mental health support services departments. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tanya Coles-Daly, and I'm the Assistant Director of the Counseling Center here at Bay Path University. My role here at Bay Path is to help with all things mental health and wellness. We do that through referrals, and for our referrals, we have on-ground and telehealth services available to all students. We work with River Valley Counseling Center, also New Path Counseling, and You Will. River Valley and New Path Counseling do come to the campus, and they will see students in person or telehealth. If you are in the Massachusetts, Connecticut area, these services are provided for you. We also have You Will Counseling, which is all telehealth, 8 free sessions to all Bay Path students. And you could access this service through your Bay Path email address. They will also give you or provide extra sessions, but you will have to do that through your insurance. River Valley and New Path Counseling also take insurance as well. But if you need services, maybe you're not in the area, I could also help with referrals and assist with any needs that you may have. Even if you just want to reach out to me, just to talk about a few things, maybe run, kind of work out some things just through a check-in, or maybe accountability or whatever, you can always call me, and I'm always available to speak with any student for any need. Next slide. Again, if anyone needs extra supports, I am here for check-ins. We can do that either on ground or through Zoom. Also with accountability or help with community resources as well as campus resources. Sometimes you may not know who to talk to, or if you have a question, if I may not have it, but I can direct you to those who can give you those answers to your questions. We also do a mental health and wellness programming, in person and hybrid, through wellness fairs, our Wellness Wednesday, and then there's access to our Wildcat Food Pantry. This pantry is free and it is open to the Bay Path community. So if you need anything, whether it's social services support or you need just a few items, you can come and you can use the Wildcat Pantry, donate as well. And so if you need any, if you have any questions or have any needs, please feel free to contact me at counseling@baypath.edu or 413-565-1354. You can also access through the website. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I know that one of the most commonly questions, so with BayPath at the graduate level, most of our programs are virtual. Obviously, you guys provide virtual services to students. What if somebody prefers more of that in-person experience versus virtual? Do you have options to connect students at all in any way to mental health support in the area that students might live in?
Absolutely. That is something that I could help facilitate. I do have a network of providers in this area, but I can also help get providers or assistants outside of the area as well. So that is a service that I could provide.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And then for accessibility services, I do know one of the questions, and I could probably answer just because I see it on campus. A lot of the time, students are wondering if they could have their emotional support animal with them on campus. And I know that we do have limited graduate housing available on campus, so I know some of the students are that. How do you go about that? How do you guys support that if you do?
That's a great question. So students that are qualified for an accommodation for an assistance animal in campus housing, if they plan to, for example, move into campus graduate housing for the fall semester, they would want to start the process of reaching out to our office individually, likely early spring, to make sure that they can have those conversations with us earlier rather than later. Application processing does take time for assistance animal applications specifically. Anything housing related, it's important to have those conversations early. So I highly recommend connecting with our office individually, and I'd be happy to send our policies and procedures on an individual basis.
Wonderful, thank you. Another question that just came through too, and I don't know if either of you would be the right person or not. If not, we will absolutely find the answer for you. But does BayPath offer student insurance?
Yes, there is insurance through the school, but I believe that is through Student Financial Services. And I think that is a question for them.
All right, I believe Dawn has left. So what I'm gonna do, Bonnie, I'm gonna take down your question, save it in my little pocket, and through your registration, we'll get an email and we'll get that answer for you in the next couple of days.
All right, thank you so much for this great information. At this time, it's my privilege to welcome Dr. Shannon Compton, who is our Health Sciences and Scholarly Communications Librarian. And Dr. Compton is going to be with us to share information about the academic support services provided through our Hatch Learning Commons. Welcome, Dr. Compton.
Hi, thanks. Yeah, my title's a tongue twister. So At the Hatch Learning Commons, we have library services as well as academic support. The academic support is in the form of academic coaching, and we can do coaching in writing, English language as a second language, and MTEL. And we can also do general studies skills, time management skills, adjustment to college life skills. And if you want to reach out to us, you can go to the Hatch Learning Commons website. There is a tab on that site for reach out to a librarian. There is also a tab for reach out to academic coaches, and all of our contact information is there. And the website link is right there. A really important thing that we have at Bay Path is a robust interlibrary loan program. So what does that mean? That means when you're doing research, if you run into a paywall on any kind of an article that you need for your research, you can reach out to us and request that article through interlibrary loan. So this way you can borrow materials instead of having to purchase them. And sometimes articles, I don't know if any of you have taken a look, sometimes articles can be pretty expensive. So this service is free to you, and it is very fast. Bay Path has earned membership in a digital express program that averages 18 hours or less to obtain articles for our students. In addition, Bay Path has a national network of libraries that we can borrow from, and not all schools offer international or national interlibrary loan. Many of them only offer a regional or limited network. For online graduate students, Bay Path will mail physical materials to you, both items checked out from Hatch and those obtained through interlibrary loan, directly to your home for free. We also have professional librarians available to grad students. We have a dedicated librarian for each one of our schools, and they are available when the library is open for chats. They are also available by appointment. And for those of you interested in health sciences, Bay Path does have a dedicated health science expert. That's me. And I work at the Ryan Center, which is our health sciences building. And I personally will do video appointments like through Zoom. And I also do I do meetings in person, if you happen to be on campus. And I am also available on evenings and some weekends with some advance notice, like 2 or 3 days. I can meet with you. And I see there's a question.
There is. So for materials mailed to us, would there be a return ship included, or would we pay for that return?
That's a great question to which I do not know the answer. I am not responsible for interlibrary loan. That being said, I will write down the question and I can ask the ILL librarian tomorrow about that. And I can send the response back to the grad folks and they can send it out to you.
Yeah, we'd
Thank
be
you,
happy
Jacob.
to get that to you, Jacob. Yeah. So as you know, a lot of our students are coming back after a break from being in the education system. Are there any tools or things you could do to help students with library resources in returning to school after so long? I know a lot of people struggle with the writing process and everything after that. Is there any suggestions you can give for that or input you could provide us?
I would say, importantly, our faculty are extremely helpful. Don't be afraid to reach out to them and say, hey, I'm new with all of this. And also reach out to academic support. Our IT teams are fantastic, which you'll hear about shortly. So there's lots of support that we have for adult learners that are returning to school, especially after 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Coming back to grad school to further your education and further your career. That's a great question.
All right, one more question. Do you have an idea of the turnaround time for students seeking assistance through the, the 24/7, 365 support system? A lot of our students are working in the evenings on schoolwork and everything, and I didn't know if you had any input on that, or is that something we could look into for our students?
My understanding of tutor.com is that they can submit that anytime. And it takes about 2 days at most to get. So what you do is you submit your paper and someone goes over your paper, makes commentary on it, editing comments, sorry. And then they will return it to you. And you have up to a certain number of hours a semester. And the hours are how many hours is a tutor spending with your paper. And I don't know if it's 20 or 40 hours a semester. And again, Bob might be able to help out with that when he starts chatting. So what it means by 24/7, 365 is any time of day you can submit it to them year round. And from what I've heard from feedback from our students, they're actually pretty good at what they're doing, and they've been really helpful at helping students improve their writing. And you also see that statistics is there as well, which is something a lot of people need help with. I mean, I checked my calculator to see that 4 + 4 is still 5. Is that the number regardless of full-time or part-time? I'm not absolutely positive, but I believe it is.
Another question is, do we have any actual textbooks available through the library?
There is a textbook program. That being said, they're available if you're physically in the library, and you can check them out for 2 hours at a time. They can't actually leave the physical library. You can request that a few pages be copied. So that is a service that we do offer, that you can have some of the pages copied, and we'll send them to you through email.
Wonderful. We did have a few more questions come in. I think I'm reading this as the information provided on the website, as far as the website and everything, the same regardless as if a student has full-time or part-time status.
Yes.
Wonderful. And do you have a writing center that helps with all subjects?
The Writing Center can help with all subjects. The Writing Center itself is the Hatch Learning Commons and our academic coaches, as well as that tutor.com. They can address any subject.
Wonderful. And one more quick question. Do you have an idea of the turnaround time for those mailed materials? How far in advance should students prepare to, if they're going to be having materials mailed to them? Would you suggest before the class begins? How far in advance?
Interlibrary, if you're asking to check something out directly from the library, as soon as we get your request, we can package it up and ship it out to you. I'd say probably within 24 to 48 hours. With interlibrary loan, we are dependent on whomever we're borrowing the resource from. That being said, with COVID and everything, interlibrary loan really sped up. And again, it is within 24, 48 hours, so 1 to 2 days. My advice is always, don't wait until the day before or the day of an assignment's due and request the materials. Do your research a little bit sooner, like at least about a week out. That way you can make sure you get the papers you want and you're able to read them and get your assignments submitted on time.
Wonderful. I do have one more question for you, Dr. Compton. Thank you so much. In terms of, the actual textbooks for courses, does the library have those books available that can be utilized either online or shipped to students for use?
The textbooks we do not ship to students for use. You actually have to come into the library to check them out, and you can check them out for up to 2 hours at a time. We do make photocopies of a few pages to a chapter. Because of copyright laws, we can't photocopy an entire book, but we will send them to you through email. The copies that we can make, we'll send them to you through email.
You are just very popular tonight. And I think it's, as grad students, research, the writing papers is, very heavily focused in grad school. And I can even attest as I did my master's at Bay Path University, and I've myself used you guys too, and you've been a tremendous help, because I think it's one of those stressful when it comes down to the capstone, your research projects, anything like that. It's really nice when you have such a specific topic. There's sometimes you think like you can't find any more articles, and you guys came through every single time that I've personally used you guys, so I can attest more on the student side for you guys. But another one of the question is to how long can something be borrowed? And is there a way to see what is available if I'm looking for a particular book or an article, or not, especially if it's tangible? Is there a service that I can see if it's available, and for how long?
So to the second question, yes, if you go to our website, on the homepage, there is a big maroon box that says search, and you type in what you're looking for, and that will bring up everything that's in our collection associated with whatever keyword you use to search. As far as how long can you check things out, I am a little chagrined to say I'm not entirely positive. I want to say 6 weeks, but please don't quote me on it. And I do see another question. Is there a limit on how many photocopies we can request per book? The number of photocopies, not specifically. The amount of the book, yes, it is. We are limited by copyright laws to roughly 10%. So that would vary depending on the length of the book.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And Jacob, we will get the question about materials being mailed to you and the return, if it's included or not. We'll get that to you in the next couple of days after the presentation as well. So thank you so much, Shannon. We really appreciate you being here this evening and showcasing our academic support services, the Hatch Learning Commons. Thank you so much.
I actually did just get another question. And it was sent to me, but I would love to answer it for everybody.
Yeah, of course.
In the health sciences program, the doctoral health science program, do you have to take a statistics class? If so, are there tutors for statistics? Depending on the program, either you do have to take some sort of a biostats class, or you had to have had statistics before entering the program. And do we have a tutor specifically for statistics? We don't. That being said, tutor.com is an excellent resource, and we do have an academic coach that can help with some statistics.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and we are gonna move to our next support service here at Bay Path for graduate students. And I'm gonna pass things on to my colleague Carrie Ann to introduce.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm excited to introduce our IT department, who are here to empower you with the knowledge and tools to navigate our technology landscape seamlessly. Today, they'll be covering a range of essential topics, as you can see here on the slide, that are just a click away. From resetting your password and installing Office 365 to accessing important printing information and utilizing the features of Google Suite within your Bay Path email, they have you covered. They'll also provide guidance on connecting to our wireless network, tips for keeping your account safe and how to recognize and avoid phishing scams. Plus, if you're considering a new computer, they could share recommendations on specs and advice on antivirus software and warranties. Finally, they'll walk you through the process of submitting a support ticket for any unresolved issues. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Randy Bork from our IT department.
Randy, I see you talking, but we can't hear you.
Sorry, I had myself double muted. Can you hear me now?
Oh my goodness, there you are. Yes,
Sorry.
thank you.
Yeah. As Carrie said, and even technicians need help with technical stuff sometimes. As Carrie said, a lot of our information is available to you from the beginning on the one.baypath.edu site. We try to provide as much as we can initially, so that way when you get started, you have all the links available to you to figure out how to get Office, how to set up printing, how to use your badge for printing, how to connect your devices, not just your phone and your tablet, maybe your PlayStation or something else. We also try to provide as much information as we can via the website to help you look for and navigate how to use the Google Suite and how to be safe with it. It's getting increasingly difficult to keep your accounts safe. So one of the things we offer is Duo. Unfortunately, everyone has to have it because we need your account to be as safe as possible. Duo, all it requires is a small app installed on your phone. And then anytime you access BayPath outside of the BayPath network, if you're remote, it's all the time. If you come on campus, you won't need to do that, but you will need to do it when you're at home. That allows us to make sure your account's safe. It means that anybody trying to hack into your account, anybody trying to log into your account, you'll get a notification on your phone and you'll know, hey, I'm not at my phone, I'm having dinner somewhere. No, not me. And then you can let us know and we can work with you to get your password changed and get anything checked out that you might need to get checked out on your computer or your phone to make sure there's nothing there that's causing your information to leak somewhere else. For specs, we can run you through that. We can give you some information on what websites to go to and what kind of processor, memory, and hard drive you would want to get for working in our systems. And honestly, a little bit beyond that, basic specs are basic, but we would want to give you something that will last you the 2 to 4 years you would be with us. The last part would be tickets. Putting in a ticket's fairly easy. On the one.baypath.edu site under tech support, it's a simple link to click on. It brings you right to the ticketing system. You can tell us exactly what's going on. If you're having a problem logging in, if you're having a problem with Office, if you're having a problem with Canvas, all of these things will get us information that we can use to point you in the right direction, whether it be us helping you or maybe another team. Outside of that, are there any questions for me? I will bring up chat. I have not had that up.
Randy,
No?
a common question that I get is if someone is a returning BayPath student,
Yes.
do they, and maybe this is a layered question. So if someone is a returning BayPath student in general, say they received their undergraduate degree, they were coming back for their master's, is their email going to stay the same as it
Yes.
was before? So regardless of how much time has passed?
Generally speaking, if you're a returning student, your email and password would honestly stay the same. We wouldn't change that because a lot of our students who aren't students for a while continue to use their BayPath email as an email for contacting employers, maybe other schools. It's something they keep on hand. So yeah, your email address and password would stay the same. On the link that gets you to tech support, there's also a reset password link that makes it fairly easy. The only thing I can tell you is as a returning student, if you're coming back and you did not have to use Duo when you were first with us, you will have to set that up before you can log into your account. And that's something we can help with.
And another question to piggyback off of Carrie Ann is, what if somebody has changed their name since, for various reasons? Will they, if they request it, can they have their current name that they use, last name, to reflect that in their email?
Yes, we have also a link to request name changes. It's a form that helps us in two ways. The first way is sometimes when you come back, this is your new name and your old name doesn't make sense anymore, so you don't want to use it. The second part is we have multiple systems that have your name in them. So for us to change it, it isn't as simple as 1, 2, 3. It does take us a couple days to make sure every system has the correct information in it. So we can change your email address to your new name, but it does take us a little time to get all of that processed on the back end to make sure everything matches up as it should. And I see I do have a student who asked a question. You have access to Office, and we do have access, or as a student, you will have access to Adobe Express. It's not the Adobe full version of applications, it's the Express versions. And there is a link to that on our tech support page also to help you find which applications you can use.
And I see another question too above that. As a virtual student, what technology would we need to have on our computer?
Well, what we can recommend to you, we really recommend a full Windows device or a Mac. Either one works fine. We do try and get students to use Chrome as the primary web source for our stuff. A lot of students, a lot of people have their own personal email addresses and a BayPath email address. What you want to do is make sure you separate that. You want two browsers, and it can be Microsoft's browser, the Edge browser. It can be Mozilla. Try and keep your personal stuff there if possible and use Chrome just for BayPath. It will alleviate some issues you might run into when you're logging in. If you log in with your personal address by accident and you're trying to access Canvas or some other BayPath link, you might get an error that says you don't have access to this. So your best bet is to keep those things separate. Other than having two browsers and having a full-fledged Windows or Mac device, Chromebooks do work, but I can tell you from working with students, they are difficult to work with. They function, but it can make it harder for you to get stuff done versus a Windows device or a Mac. Student badges were mentioned, how the virtual students get their badges. I want to say it's the same way that students on campus get their badges. If you go to the one.baypath.edu and you look under CPS, I think there's a link there where it tells you exactly what you have to do to get that done.
Absolutely. Yeah. So absolutely. You're right, Randy. So there's, if someone is a completely online student, like some of our graduate programs are completely online, but you happen to be in the area and you want to use the facilities that we have, for example, the library or anything like that, you would come and do the same process as anyone would that's an on-campus student. And just because you are an online, your program is online, you are welcome to use the amenities here on campus.
Including the gym. If you happen to come by and you want to go work out, you can use the gym. On top of that, I do want to add a note. A lot of students have a hard time initially because sometimes when you click the link, there's a little bit of instructions. One of the biggest things I see students have an issue with is uploading their picture. The picture that you upload has to be a specific size. So please pay attention when you're getting your badge set up that you follow those instructions to a letter, because if you don't, it'll error out when you try and upload, and that'll cause you problems, which means you'll contact us, and it'll take a little longer for you to get what you need.
Great. Any other questions for IT? Let's see. That is all I'm seeing for now, but that was a very comprehensive explanation. So thank you so much. And if you ever have an issue or you're unsure if there's an issue, you can always submit a ticket right on the website. I can tell you firsthand in my 6 years with BayPath, I've utilized IT an embarrassing amount of times, and they are right on it. I always get a response right away. So I really appreciate it. So thank you, Randy,
You're
for
welcome.
being with us this evening. Let's see. So that is.
We now have Bob.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
So the next, which brings us to our next slide. So the Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning. I'm thrilled to introduce also something that we call the CITL, who are here to guide us through some invaluable tools and resources that can enhance your educational experience. Today, they will walk us through key platforms, starting with Canvas, where you can access course materials and more. They'll also include us on Zoom for the web conferencing, a screencast for recording and sharing your ideas. In addition, they'll provide insights into student apps available both on iOS and Android, making it easier for you to stay connected and engaged no matter where you are. The presentation will also cover useful tutorials for Google Suite and Canvas, ensuring that you have the support that you need to succeed. And lastly, they'll share a helpful tech support decision tree to guide you on how to get assistance, whether it's reaching out to your instructor or contacting the IT department. So please joining me this evening in welcoming Bob Kelly, our Senior Instructional Designer for the Center of Innovative Teaching and Learning. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Carrie, and welcome everybody. It's been 1 full hour on your web conference, so respect for sticking around this long. It's not easy, so we appreciate your patience. I'm going to start a little backwards and start with the tech support decision tree, because this is a common issue that comes up. When you need help, who do you contact, and what's the hierarchy, if you will? So as you can see from the slide, normally when you're in an online course, the first person of contact when you have a problem would be your instructor, because they can help you determine if they can solve the problem or whether it revolves around other resources. So if there's a problem within a course, I would start with the instructor, text or email them, and they could direct you in the right area. For problems that are unique to you, so for instance, if the entire class is participating in something and you're you can't participate, but everybody else can, that's typically a technical problem with your computer or with the software you're using. And so that would be tech support. And Randall, who just talked to you, is part of the tech support team. So they'd be helpful in tracking down why that unique problem is a problem. If your instructor can't help you and IT can't help you, then the Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning, we're the people that create the courses. So we would have in-depth knowledge about something within a course that's a problem, and then you would contact us. And you can see on the slide at the bottom there, the CITL@baypath.edu is how you would contact us. So when you have a problem, think about that hierarchy, and that would get you efficiently to solve that problem. So what I want to do is I want to show you an online course. You're all graduate students, so the majority of you will be taking online courses. A lot of our online courses are hybrid in that there are certain times you may come to campus or to meet. And so that would be a slightly different variation, but you're predominantly in online courses. So I'm going to demo a quick look through an online course by sharing my screen and showing you Canvas. Before I do that, though, you can see that there are student apps for Canvas. Canvas is our online learning management system. And they do have a phone app for you if you want to use that. And you can see the links there under the phone apps under iTunes and Google Play. And that'll allow you to download on a phone or on a Chrome device. You would be able to download the apps. A little warning, the apps are not fully developed and you can't really participate fully in an online course just using your phone, right? So we recommend that you use the app to maybe check your grades or to check on dates of things, but to do a full assignment on the app would probably be a challenge. The other thing is you can see tutorials there. So both of those links will hook you up with the Canvas tutorial and the Google tutorials if you're struggling with material. So yes, you can ask the help desk to get you through a problem, but if you bookmark either of those tutorials, it'll probably get you to look at the problem, and there's probably an answer there that's there. So I'm going to share my screen now, and we're going to look at an online course, and I'll talk a little bit about the kinds of things you'll be doing as an online student. So this is a random course I picked. It's utilization of research. It's for the public health program. And there's a question
Bob,
earlier about,
Bob.
Yes.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I can't see it. Does everybody else see Bob's screen?
I can see it.
Okay.
I'm seeing it.
I'm seeing it.
I can see it.
All right, perfect. Please resume.
Not a problem. So there was a question about research and how we help you in the research area. If you're taking a graduate program, there's probably a course just on research. And there's also capstones and other ways to guide you through that research process. And this happens to be a course on utilization of research for public health. So in addition to the tutorials, etc., there's also courses directly related to that. This is typically what a course looks like. There'll be a welcome page. In the old welcome page, it'll tell you the big ideas for the course. It'll share any due dates or any important things. A lot of our courses have online components that are synchronous. So there'll be a Zoom meeting that is part of a course. It might be on a Tuesday or a Friday night or whenever. And that course, that Zoom meeting, which is live and may last an hour, isn't mandatory, but because they could record it. But the idea is we'd love to have people participate in live sessions. And so those due dates would be listed at the beginning of an online course. It also tells you about your assignments, the grading criteria, etc. So in every online course, there are assignments that are due that you would submit online. There are discussion forums where you discuss things with your students, text-based, or in a lot of our discussion forums are video-based, and I'll show you some of the software we use for that. So discussions and assignments are typical for online courses. There are quizzes or not, depending on the course. So the structure of a course would look like this. There's weekly modules that you participate in. My guess is as graduate students, you've all taken online courses before, so none of this is probably new to you. But in Canvas, it might look slightly different than Blackboard or other year learning systems that we use. When you go to a specific week, there's an overview page, and then there's perhaps videotape lectures. There might be a discussion forum, an assignment, and maybe a quiz. And in the overview page, it gives you kind of a large view of the entire week that you'll be participating in. It'll have links to your readings that are connected directly to the library resources that we have, so you can access those easily and for free. There are links that tells you what chapters and textbooks to read. And again, there may be video lectures. There'll be a discussion where you discuss things with your classmates, and then there'll be assignments. So, I mean, that's the general structure for an online course. This is what it would look like in Canvas. I mentioned that our assignments are not just text-based and writing, and that's one of the strengths of our department or our school. We want to make sure that students are doing real work that applies to their careers, and it's not, just assignments that are academic in nature, that they really apply to your work and that will help you to do that. And we also don't just ask you to type things, but we ask you to produce things. So you may have a project that's due at the end of the semester rather than just quizzes every week. That project would be meaningful for your career, and you might use it in your workplace and elsewhere. When you create things in BayPath, there are two softwares that we use, and you'll have access to them within Canvas. One of them is called ScreenPal, and what that does is that's where we create videos. So you may create a presentation for a class. You may participate in a discussion forum that's video-based. And when you access ScreenPal, we ask that you sign in using your BayPath account. So you have every one of you will have a video creation tool, and when you connect it to your BayPath account, then you make sure that everything that you have is accessible to all the BayPath students. In Canvas, what you would do to activate your ScreenPal account is you would go to a specific assignment or a discussion forum, and when you're ready to participate in that, they have the text editor here. And in that text editor, there's a link right there to your ScreenPal account. So typically what'll happen is you'll link to your account. It used to be called Screencast-O-Matic, now it's called ScreenPal. You would record a video there, and then you would select that video. And when you do that, it then magically appears in a discussion forum or in an assignment. So creating videos in most programs is common and popular, and we want to make sure early in your career here at BayPath that you understand and are able to do that. The other thing we do a lot of is we use Zoom to do synchronous sessions. And so with Zoom, again, BayPath has their own version of Zoom. We subscribe to Zoom so that you have a secure and a common place to access your Zoom account. And so when you're participating in a web conference, you could access it directly in your course by clicking the Zoom link. And under there, this course doesn't have one scheduled yet, but you would have the meeting scheduled right here. You'd click on it. If they recorded that meeting, you could go to cloud recordings and access it if you weren't able to participate live. So again, our courses are much more than threaded discussions and typing and reading. We have live lectures. We have recorded lectures. We have live Zoom sessions, and we also have video conferencing and the ability for you to create things. So we want to make sure that you're not just reading, but that you're accessing all the tools. One last benefit of participating in this robust kind of technology environment, we found that we get a lot of compliments from employers after the fact and from conferences we participate in that say, wow, BayPath students really know their technology. They know how to create videos. They know how to participate in conferences, etc. So those are all things that we're very proud of, and we want to make sure that you can, in addition to learning your content, that you're learning about these great technology tools. That's all I got for you. I'm looking at any questions, and if somebody wants to read those questions to me or not, otherwise I think I'm pretty much done.
Great, thank you, Bob. That was a really comprehensive, awesome look at what we offer our students when it comes to apps, and great to kind of see inside of a classroom. So thank you so much for that.
One of the questions that did pop up, is this the standard setup for all courses?
Yeah, so we have within programs, every course has that exact same template. And we believe that if you go from course to course, they should all look the same and feel the same and have similar requirements. So you can concentrate on just learning the material and not worry about navigation or weird directions or anything like that. Now, sometimes if you go from program to program, let's say you're in the genetic counseling program and you want to take a course in the public health program, the template might be slightly different, but it's very tiny, very minor differences. So you would not be disoriented or have any problems adapting to that slightly different template.
And I saw one last question. If we contacted our instructor and not be able to attend a course, would there be a recording of the lecture or class? And I can answer that just based on knowledge of the setup of different grad courses. So if it's an asynchronous course, which some of our programs are, it just depends on the program that you're interested in. the lectures are recorded. So if it's an asynchronous course, meaning that there's no certain time you need to be signed online with the rest of your peers, but you do have deadlines to work within throughout the week, that those sessions are recorded. And from my understanding, students have the ability to attend the recording if they want to. If it's an asynchronous course, it is not required. You are not docked points for not attending. It's just they have to record it anyway. So if you want to attend the live recording and ask questions there and it works with your schedule, then you can absolutely do that. But if it is a synchronous course that is recorded, and if for some reason you cannot make that course, obviously discuss it with your professor as soon ahead of time as you can, and they will make accommodations for you.
Also, and if I can just add to that, Carrie Ann, even the classes that are synchronous and are held live in the evening, they're all held live in the evening after 6 p.m. So that is to account for people's work schedules that are teaching in a classroom or do have a day job that's done at 5 to give them time to get home and log in if they do have a live class as well. All of our classes, online classes, are all held in the evening.
And yeah, our policy, and thank you, Carrie and Jenna, our policy is if you're signing up for an online course that is asynchronous, meaning you participate at your own time, there is never a mandatory requirement or punishment for not being able to participate in a Zoom, a live event. We encourage it, and if you can't make it, we understand that, and we record it. And then what you would do is you would verify with your teacher that you saw the recording and get full credit for that. So we don't, we don't make you be at a specific time at a specific place for asynchronous courses. We're very flexible like that.
Great. And then the last question before we move on to the next slide is, will there be a training class on how to use Canvas and to navigate through it? Bob, I don't know if you want to chat more about EXT99 and what that offers, but it is a guided tutorial on how to use Canvas so that you're comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, so every new student is enrolled in basically a practice class, which goes through the technology we use. And it gives you links to it, and it also gives you the basics about setting up your profile, participating in a discussion forum for the first time to work through those technologies, etc. In the courses that are more robust that require presentations and video conferencing, the first beginning of the courses, we do kind of a low stakes assignment that gives you practice in the technology so that when you get to a very high stakes assignment, you'll be familiar with it. And after your first semester or two, you'll be very fluent in all these technologies, and it'll be less about the technology and more about the content.
Thank you for that wonderful presentation. That was enjoyable and good information because I definitely had some extra questions come to me because of that. So thank you guys. Without further ado, I would like to introduce the Career Services team. We have Lillian Centennial here tonight, and she will be explaining the wonderful services that we provide to our students, whether it's working on your resume, your cover letter, interviewing skill, and negotiation. So without further ado, Miss Lillian, you are
Good
welcome.
evening, everyone. My name is Lillian Centeno. So I am a career coach here at Career Services, along with Crystal Setra Brown, who is the director of our team, as well as Emily Adamides. And we also have Lena Lewis and Eleni, who are both work study students here. Here at Career Services, we do offer services to our students as well as alumni. We help individuals reach their career goals. So career goals meaning career planning and development, also changes and other decisions as far as people trying to identify their strengths and matching their strengths and interests towards potential career goals. We use several tools in order to make those assessments. Career assessments such as ONET, which is a fabulous tool that determines what are your likes and dislikes, and what would be a good match for you. So we do a little career exploration with that. Resumes. So we do work with a lot of resume crafting. So just simply email us your resume and we'll be happy to work with you on that. As well as customizing your cover letters. We can certainly teach you on how to do that, the appropriate steps on how to write an effective cover letter, as well as the LinkedIn profile reviews. We also review those with our students and alumni. Sometimes, we all need a little help updating our LinkedIn profile in order to make those online connections and networking. We also help with interviewing prep. So asking those questions that you need to ask in order for you to land that job. Salary negotiations is another avenue that we also show our students here, how to negotiate the salary so you get what you deserve. Also, we use the platform Standout. Standout is an online platform where it asks you a series of questions, and then at the end, it gives you feedback. So it's a great tool to use. You can certainly come on in and we'll show you how to use that particular platform. Job and internship search assistance. We do have a dedicated person that works with internship, but we also have a Handshake. Handshake is an application that everyone has access to. So if you're looking for work study opportunities or just jobs so you can get the experience just to get your foot in the door, Handshake is a great tool. And of course, networking with alumni. We have a business networking event for next Tuesday. So we have several alumni that are successful in their businesses, and they're coming in to talk about how they got there, how they made their career successful, and what is the path that they've taken to achieve those goals. Also, LinkedIn Alumni Research Tool. It's a very effective tool. So if you want to connect with an alum that's in a similar field of study that you're in, and you need assistance as far as, how do I get my foot in the door? How do I make that connection? This is a great way to reach out to alumni, and they're very open to assisting our students here. And I've seen those connections, so everyone's willing to help out with any questions that you may have. And I highly encourage to set up an informational interview session whenever you connect with LNM. It's very informative, and I'm sure you'll come out with a lot of great insight as far as what pertains to your particular field. Any questions?
Yes, one question that I have is how do you get signed up and have your first appointment with someone from Career Services?
Certainly, right there, you can go to our SCLP community page, and there's a link on there where you could just schedule an appointment. Simply just tap on that. It'll take you right directly into Calendly where you can select the preferred scheduled appointment time.
Will there be anything that they need to bring to the appointment?
No, no. If it's a resume review, we do encourage everyone to send in their resume prior to meeting with a career coach. That way we can review it. And once we get together during your appointment, we'll be able to go over those edits and recommendations.
Great. The next question that I received is what can I expect for an individual career counseling session, and how often can I meet with my coach?
As often as you like. I mean, if you come to us that you have questions about you're going for a particular field of study, but you're not sure which direction to go, we can certainly help you with that. There's a tool that we use that basically says, well, I have this degree, now what do I do with it? So we can certainly help pinpoint to which particular area that you want to be involved. So for example, if you're a major in mental health counseling, do you want to work with children? Do you want to work in a private setting, in a clinic? Do you want to work in a hospital? Or do you want to work for a nonprofit? So we'll certainly help you pinpoint exactly what you're looking for and actually set up let's say a game plan for you to achieve that.
Awesome. I love it. I had an interesting question come out to me, and it was more on the career development resources. So
Okay.
they saw on the website that you have a weekly e-letter that comes out. How do they subscribe to it, and how do they get the shared information that comes out on it?
The e-letter, I'm not sure exactly what the student is referring to.
So I think on the page it comes under weekly e-letter, addition to individual career coaching sessions we offer. So it's listed on there.
The weekly e-letter.
Mm-hmm.
Don't-
E-newsletter.
I'm sorry?
The weekly e-newsletter.
The weekly newsletter, that is something that is sent out by one of our work study students. And it's usually sent out to everyone on campus. So I can certainly find out more about that.
Okay.
Sure.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lillian. We really appreciate having you here join us tonight for the graduate open house.
Great. Thank you so much. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you so
everyone.
much.
Hi, everyone. So now this is going to be an opportunity for our graduate admissions team to each introduce themselves and to let you know a little bit about what programs we primarily work with. Although I would like to say that we are cross-trained in all programs, so whomever you reach out to would be able to assist you. So my name, again, as I told you at the beginning, is Jana O'Connell, and I'm the Interim Senior Director of Graduate Admissions here at Bay Path. I primarily recruit for our Educational Leadership Doctoral Program, our Applied Behavior Analysis, Reading and Literacy Instruction, and our Special Education programs. My contact information is here on this slide. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer for you about those programs. And our next admissions counselor will be
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jana. I also do want to point out when we send this to you guys, everything is linkable. So you will be able to click on clinical mental health counseling area. It will bring you straight to our website. You can click on schedule an appointment link that will bring you straight to each individual counselor's. So we try to make it as easy and accessible for you guys as possible. So you will be able to do that. And you don't have to search the web for the information if you don't want to. But my name is Anastasia Sprimuli. I'm the Director of Graduate Admissions here at Bay Path. I primarily recruit for our health science programs that include our clinical mental health counseling program, the developmental psychology program, post-professional occupational therapy doctorate degree, and then the three of our master in occupational therapy programs that come in the forms of full-time on campus, part-time hybrid, and our bridge program that takes students from their OTA or PTA degree to the master's in OT.
Great. And as I said before, I'm Carrie Ann Viens. I'm the Associate Director of Graduate Admissions here at Bay Path University, and I recruit for the other half of the health science programs. And that includes the Master's in Genetic Counseling, the Doctorate of Health Science program, the Master's of Science in Nursing, our Doctor of Nursing Practice program that has 2 entry points, one BSN to DNP and one MSN to DNP, and the Master of Public Health. And as Anastasia said, everything here is clickable, so please feel free to schedule an appointment with me or click any of the links to learn more about each program.
Hi, everybody. We're so glad you're here with us tonight. My name is Kimberly Adamczyk. I'm an Assistant Director of Graduate Admissions here at Bay Path. I work primarily with the Creative Nonfiction Writing Program, which is an MFA degree, Early Childhood Education, which is pre-K through 2nd grade, Elementary Education, which is 1st through 6th grade, and the English as a Second Language program. And each of those education programs have multiple options for initial professional licensure. And I look forward to connecting with those of you who indicated you're interested in those fields when you registered for this event.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rashida Thornton, and I work with the business programs. I work with the accounting master's program, as well as the applied data science and cybersecurity. So just to slide out a little, we do have a cyber summit going on campus. So if it's something you want to join in tomorrow virtually. You can click on either of those links and be able to sign in and register and watch a wonderful summit tomorrow. We also have the MBA program that I work with. And as Anastasia stated, you can click on any of these tabs and you can get the information you need, but also feel free to give me a call or email me at any time. I'm happy to help you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Samantha Shea, and I'm an Assistant Director of Graduate Admissions here at Bay Path. Right now, I currently oversee our Master's in Healthcare Management program, which includes a couple of different concentrations as well as certificates. And I also oversee our Master of Science in Organizational Leadership and Negotiation. And I welcome scheduling an appointment, and I look forward to chatting with you.
And of course, I clicked on one of the links, so it's going to bring you right to that. All right. And we're going to turn things back over to Jana.
So you're thinking, what's next? Like, we received a lot of great information tonight about our resources and how to access some of those. So most importantly, what I want to let you know is to watch for a follow-up email early next week that will be sent directly to you, the email that you gave us when you registered. And within that email, you'll have a personal email that will have the requested program information that you said you were interested in learning more about. There'll be a PDF of the slides so that you can access the information on that, as well as a link to this recorded presentation. So you can review anything that you saw or any contact information. Along with that email, you're also going to get something called the Graduate Resource Guide that's going to list all of the things you heard tonight on a one-page document that will give you their phone number, their contact information, how to access the online tutoring and different things like that. So it's another great resource to hang on your fridge or to have next to your desk when you're on the computer and you're in classes and you need help, and it's all in a one-stop shopping spot. So that's all coming to you early next week. So look for that. Also, there's a link to the application here online if you want to get started in your application. Or you can go ahead and schedule an appointment with an admissions counselor. Again, there'll be an invite to schedule that appointment within the email you receive. But also, if you look at these, you can also schedule an appointment. Each of our own individual slides does have a place for you to a live link for you to schedule an appointment with us. So you're welcome when you get the emailed presentation to go back and do it from there as well. And I do see a question come across, so I will answer that. Once I turn in my application, what should I expect to hear of decision? Most decisions for most of our programs are anywhere from 2 to 7 business days. And when it's closer to a semester, they often come through much more quickly. Some specific programs do have a bit longer, but for the most part, most actually here within the first 2 to 3 days, but there's some that take a little bit longer.
Amina, and you are one of my applicants, so I can address specifically this to you. Your application is complete. It is being reviewed now. Once it is complete, we will schedule an interview with you with one of our OT faculty to have a conversation, have an interview. And then once that's done, within a week, couple of days to a week, you will get your decision email sent to you. So
thanks, Anastasia. So I just want to take the opportunity again to end the evening by thanking everyone who participated in and attended this event about our Graduate Resource Open House. And I hope that you all found it as helpful and informative as I have. And I just want you all to have a great night. And we look forward to working with you on your path to achieving your goals. And carpe diem to you all. Have a good night.